Welcome back to Thrive at the Top and to episode 3 in our special series Before the Cockpit, Mental Health, Cadet Culture and Aviation's Hidden Risks. I'm Mabel Munyimani, the founder of Complete Wellbeing Global and the creator of the Safe Pillars Framework. And always, our mission for Complete Wellbeing Global is shaped by a single quote that continues to guide everything we do. You've heard it before in this series and I'll say it again. There comes a point where we need to stop just pulling people out of the river. We need to go upstream and find out why they are falling. This is a quote by Desmond Tutu. This episode is for leaders, regulators, and decision makers who've been taught, either formally or by culture, that a diagnosis of depression should automatically raise red flags, or worse, should end a career. Because the belief that depression equals disqualification isn't just outdated, it's medically inaccurate, it's legally questionable, and it's creating unnecessary safety risks. Let's break this open. The truth about depression. Let's start with facts. Depression is one of the most common and treatable mental health conditions in the world. Around 5% of men and 7% of women in general population will experience it in any given year. It can range from mild to severe, and symptoms can fluctuate over time. With proper treatment, including therapy, medication, and lifestyle support, most people recover or manage their symptoms effectively. So let's ask the obvious. If 1 in 20 people are likely to experience depression in a year, do we really believe pilots are exempt? Or are we simply building a system that pressures them to pretend? Because that's the real issue. The pressure to hide, not the diagnosis itself. In many aviation environments, the moment a pilot or a cadet seeks support for depression, they're seen as a liability instead of a person in recovery. And here's the contradiction. If they don't seek help, they're considered non-compliant. If they do seek help, they risk being flagged, grounded, or removed from the pipeline entirely. This double bind creates a dangerous situation. People delay treatment, they self-medicate, they underreport symptoms, or they drop out of the system altogether. And here's what gets missed. Depression is not disqualifying. Untreated depression is. The risk isn't the diagnosis. The risk is ignoring it. So let's talk about the spectrum approach to fitness. I think this is really important. Let's return to the well-being continuum we've referenced throughout this series. Mental health, like physical health, operates on a spectrum. And we like to color code it for demonstration purposes. Green, excelling. A lighter shade of green, you're thriving. It starts to go into yellow when you're coping, orange when you're struggling, and then red when you're sinking. A pilot experiencing mild depression while receiving appropriate support, being monitored, and staying compliant with treatment may be far less risky than a pilot who's suppressing severe symptoms behind a mask of perfection. That's why we need to reframe fitness to fly as a pass-fail judgment, but as a dynamic status based on capacity, functionality, support in place, risk management, and recovery evidence. Medical professionals do this with physical health all the time. So why not with mental health? The aviation sector has historically relied on binary decisions. You're either fit or unfit, cleared or grounded. But this model doesn't reflect clinical reality. It doesn't reflect human reality. Just like athletes can play while managing injury, pilots can fly safely while managing their mental health if they are supported. It's the system that needs to adapt. We don't need looser standards. We need smarter ones. Ones that are built around monitoring, not punishment. Ones that empower medical examiners, psychologists, and employers to work together towards safe, ethical recovery plans. What does a supportive fitness to fly model include? Here's a real-world checklist. Confidential mental health disclosures, assessment by trained mental health professionals, individualized treatment plans, time-limited grounding where clinically appropriate, clear, structured return to duty pathways, ongoing check-ins and fatigue monitoring, communication between departments that protect privacy and promotes safety, cultural shifts to eliminate shame, fear, and career-killing stigma. This isn't soft. it's smart. And it's entirely possible if leadership decides to prioritize risk mitigation through support, not silence. Here's what I want you to remember as we close this conversation. Depression is not a character flaw. It's not a competency issue, and it's not a career death sentence. It's a treatable condition that can be managed in a high-performance environment if the system is ready. The real question isn't, can someone with mental health history fly? It's, what system are we building around them to ensure they fly well? Because unless we reframe fitness as a living, supported state, we'll continue losing great pilots to silence, shame, and burnout. And we'll continue mislabeling medical recovery as risk, when the real risk is systems that refuse to adapt. So in closing, if you're involved in medical clearance, regulatory policy, or aviation leadership, it's time to update the narrative. Complete Wellbeing Global offers aviation-specific diagnostics, fatigue training, and executive advisory to help organizations embed recovery-based fitness models and rewire safety systems around human performance. We help aviation teams to go upstream before it's too late. Let's have a conversation. Let's connect directly. And join us in episode 4, Beyond the Cadet, Building a Safer Industry from the Ground Up. We'll zoom out to explore the roles of regulators, insurers, training providers, and leadership in building an aviation sector that supports health at every level. And until then, stay safe, stay human, and let's lead differently.